Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing a figure review on a fairly interesting figure. It is, as you guys can tell, it is the Dark of the Moon Voyager class Optimus Prime, and honestly this figure is fairly interesting, it really is. So basically, I'm going to grab him right fast, so here he is. So basically, I'm gonna show you guys his weapon right fast. He has with him. So basically, they were doing that mech tech thing, back in 2011. So it was fairly interesting. All you had to do was use this tab right here, and then it would turn into like an axe or some craziness like that. So yeah, that's what it is. So it's fairly weird, I guess you can say. It's like a fairly weird weapon. Fairly interesting. It has like, it has okay, hold up. It has some translucent orange plastic on it, and it's fairly interesting. It really is. It's fairly interesting of a weapon. Fairly interesting. Okay, if I can tab it back to where. Okay, there you go. And also, it would be just a regular blaster or something like that. And yeah, so now getting on to the figure. The figure, it is not bad, I guess you can say. Now, obviously, this figure, it is fairly old now, so it's fairly interesting, I guess you can say. It's a fairly interesting figure. So, yeah. First thing we're going to do is go over to articulation. So, as you guys can tell, it has a wrist, well, not a wrist joint. It has an arm joint right there. And, of course, it has a wrist joint where you could just do it like that. There's a wrist joint right there. And then of course, just repeat everything on the process. It has an arm joint right there, and it has another wrist joint right here. You cannot see it, my fault. So it has a wrist joint right there. So yeah, fairly interesting. This one, it is fairly fidgety. So yeah, it's fairly fidgety, and it's kind of weird. And of course, it has a knee joint right there. There's a knee joint right there, as you guys can tell. You guys can barely tell, but there's a knee joint right there. Like, it's right there. There it is, a knee joint right there. And, of course, if you do that again on the other knee, it has a knee joint right there. And I don't know if it has a full waist articulation. I have no clue. But I do know its feet does move. Yeah, his feet move like right there. Barely see it. Barely moves, but it moves though. So, I'm going to try. Well, I'm going to attempt to transform this as fairly possible as I can. So basically, I'm going to try to do that. So basically, untab. Hold up. So basically, untab. Give me a second, guys. I usually don't do this for my figures. I usually don't transform them. Ooh, hold up, guys. Let me bring this off camera. Ooh. Hold up, guys. Trying to untab it off camera. Okay, finally, I got untabbed, guys. Hold up. I will show you guys what that looks like on camera. Give me a second. Alright, perfect. So, basically, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to look like so far. And this might be a little bit harder for me to do on camera, but I'm going to try my best to do this I'm gonna try my best. I will definitely try my best to do it on camera, but it is fairly hard for me to do on camera. Yeah. It's fairly hard for me to do this on camera, so actually, you know what? I'm not actually gonna transform it. But that is the first time you guys have probably saw me attempt to transform a figure on camera. But me, I don't really have like the skills necessary to do that. And plus I barely know how to transform a figure even off camera. So yeah, basically that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, is that I barely have the skills necessary to even transform a figure, and I barely have the skills to even transform a figure off camera. But basically what I'm trying to say is I can transform a figure off camera. Well, not off camera. I can transform a figure from its vehicle mode to its robot mode, but not on camera. I also forgot to show that it does have a ball joint. Well, I think it has a ball joint on it, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, and also, if people are actually wondering if this is from Dark of the Moon, as you guys can tell, it is from Dark of the Moon. It has those abs. So yeah. But anyways, if I could rate this figure out of 10, I would honestly, I would give this figure a fairly, probably a fairly good, okay, this is actually hard. I would give this figure probably like a 7.5 out of 10, because obvious reasons this is not the best figure that this is not the best figure that I own in my collection, and plus there's so many more figures nowadays that are actually better than this figure, so that is why I rate this out of 10. I mean, that's why I rate this a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's what I rate it. That's what I rate it out of. So it's fairly decent, and so yeah, that's why I would rate the figure out of 10. But if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think of this figure, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.